What's going on? REKBCQ signing on for another episode of Rex Room. Today we continue the story of a new hero. Originally a villain, they were reborn as someone new. This hero would be the reincarnation of the Galactic Emperor himself. This hero was a girl named Frieza. In the original story, we also saw a villain be reincarnated, the being of pure chaos, Majin Buu. Due to King Yema's meddling, we were introduced to a young boy named Oob. Sadly, because of where Oob was placed in the story, he was criminally underutilized. That led me to having an idea. What if another villain got that treatment? Now, here we are. For a little background, we started off in the future. Goku defeated Mecha Frieza and made the same wish as he did with Buu. Frieza is born to Bulma and Vegeta, being Trunks' twin. Sadly, the events of the future happen mostly as normal. However, Frieza ends up going to the past to deliver the heart medicine this time. She defeated Frieza and King Cold, but was taken aback when she noticed Frieza's ki was very similar to hers. We left off with Frieza heading back to the future. Reference not intended. We start off today's episode with Frieza finding her brother unconscious, beaten, bloody. Frieza rushes to Trunks, yelling desperately for her mother. Bulma comes into the room carrying a bag of medical supplies. Frieza, now crying at her brother's side, asks Bulma what happened. Bridgetown. He fought the androids there and lost. Badly. I followed him there so I was able to get him home safely, but he's still in bad shape. Will he be okay? I think so, but it's going to take some time to get him back to full health. We fast forward a bit to see that Trunks did make a full recovery. Now that Trunks has been recovered, the time comes for them to head back to the past. At Frieza's request, Bulma rebuilt the time machine to be bigger. They hop on board and head back. During the journey back, Trunks starts talking to Frieza. He had been upset about something, but he had been keeping it quiet up to this point. Why didn't you come back with me to fight the androids? Frieza, feeling a little nervous about being asked about it, she sheepishly replies with, Well, we could have had a chance, Frieza. I know you don't believe that, but if you were there, we could have at least been able to keep each other safe. Trunks begins to yell. I almost died, Frieza. The only thing that saved me was the android's mist. Frieza, at this point being overwhelmed, did not even try to defend herself. I'm sorry! From there, they both stay silent for the rest of the trip. From here, we cut back to the main timeline, on the morning of the android's attack. We still get the interaction of the Z-Fighters meeting Bulma's new child, but of course, she has two now. Gohan and Krillin start playing with the baby Saiyans. Bulma lets Krillin hold Frieza, and he starts making faces at her. She gets freaked out by the faces and hits him in the chin. With her power, she straight up uppercuts him. Falling to the ground, baby Frieza proceeds to bounce on top of him like he's a trampoline. It seems that no matter which version of Frieza or Frieza it is, Krillin ends up being harmed in some way. Next, Goku shows up and the interaction happens pretty similarly, but of course with Frieza now. Goku says to Bulma, There were two of them? Bulma replies with, You knew there was one child? He laughs that off as usual. She introduces Frieza and Trunks fully. He takes particular interest in Frieza. She happens to take interest in him as well. We get a cute moment where she hops up and sits on the top of his head. Moving on, the androids attack a line with the original for a while. Since present Frieza is still a baby, and the future Saiyans aren't there, really there is no reason it would go any different before Trunks and Frieza get there. We come into the story as Frieza and Trunks come upon the Z-Fighters going up against Android 20. Frieza, I saw you brought some backup, Piccolo says calmly as Frieza and Trunks arrive on the scene. Vegeta pipes in with, What did you just call her? Frieza and Trunks freeze up while Piccolo looks away, realizing what he just did. Vegeta continues. You're from the future, correct? Frieza nods. So you're my... Frieza nods again. That would make him... Trunks slowly turns his head to Vegeta and smiles awkwardly. Hey, Dad. Android 20 begins to try and slip away. Piccolo flies in front of him, blocking his way. Don't think we forgot about you. Frieza and Trunks both look at the android curiously. At the same time, they ask, Who is that guy? The android, you dimwits, Vegeta comments. No, he's not, Freya responds, giving him an annoyed stare. These aren't the androids we fought in the past. Piccolo chimes in with, if this isn't the android you two fought, then who the hell is he? Krillin adds on, maybe it's because you guys came back in time? Everyone starts deliberating amongst themselves until eventually Trunks says, wait, where did he go? They looked around to see that Android 20 wasn't there. Piccolo, you were supposed to be watching him! Freya hits him on the top of the head. Piccolo initially goes to retaliate, but then sees Freya's angry stare and backs down. As in the original, Bulma flies in and gets shot down by Android 20. Freya and Trunks fly down to catch everyone and put them down. Are you okay, Mom? The two say in unison. Did you just call me? She looks down at baby Trunks and Freya and looks back at their future counterparts. Wow, you two look great when you get older. The two blush, then look back to see Vegeta flying off. He just left without even checking if we were okay? Exclaims Freya. Monkey, you get Mom and our kid selves somewhere safe. I'm going to deal with that idiot over there. Not the time, Freya, Trunks says as she flies off. Freya has a sad look as she looks away. Bulma goes to baby Trunks and says, see that? You get really handsome when you get older. Trunks blushes again. Cutting forward a little bit, Bulma lets everyone know that Android 20 is actually Jiro of the Red Ribbon Army. They come up with the plan to beat Jiro to his lab and stop him from activating the androids. They fly off. This whole time, Freya and Vegeta have been arguing. Trunks, being upset with both of them, does his best to keep his distance. Freya notices the team flying off and calls after them. We'll explain on the way. Leave the daddy issues for later, Piccolo comments. Both Freya and Vegeta throw angry stares his way, then follow, grumbling to themselves along the way. We get to Jiro's lab and they enter. Freya and Vegeta first, as they've been racing this whole time, trying to one-up one another. I see you found my laboratory. Welcome. Piccolo responds with, we didn't come here for pleasantries. You know why we're here. Well, of course. Really, it's your fault that this is happening. I did want to activate them, but you forced my hand. Listen, I am not in the mood for this. Freya readies a ki blast in the direction of 17 and 18's pods. I wouldn't do that if I were you. You aren't going to convince me otherwise. I know what these things can do. Oh, but I have some valuable information for you. You've been wondering why you seem to share a connection with that alien tyrant, no? Everyone freezes and Freya turns the ki blast in the direction of Jiro, staring daggers at him. What would you know about that? I've kept my eyes on your motley crew for a while now. Or should I say, I've kept my cameras on you. He opens his hand and a small, bug-like robot begins to hover above it. These have been keeping tabs on all of you. I happened to barge in on a certain Son Goku while he was conversing with someone. He mentioned how you weren't just some normal child. He stated that you were the reincarnation of that being. As a man of science, I took that with a grain of salt. But considering your current conundrum, there may be some merit to it after all. The ki blast fizzles as Freya drops her arm. She lifts her hands to look at them, a mixture of horror and mortification in her eyes. Everyone stares in her direction, except for Trunks, who looks away. Freya's face contorts to show both anger and sadness, Vegeta snarling in her direction. Vegeta breaks his silence, saying, Now I can justify why I didn't hop to that woman's aid. Neither you or that brat could be my child. Trunks looks at Vegeta shocked, and then quickly switches his gaze to Freya. What are you saying? Trunks says angrily at his father. Freya goes from staring at her open palms to tightening them into fist. Shut up, you selfish bastard! Freya launches herself at Vegeta, punching him hard in the jaw and sending both of them out of the lab. Trunks and Krillin follow them. Outside, Vegeta and Freya start trading blows with each other. Freya, having been sent into a blind rage, is fighting with little concern for technique. Taking advantage of this, Vegeta gets the upper hand, throwing her around. Eventually, they end up falling away from each other. They charge back at each other at top speed. They are barely stopped as Trunks shoots a ki blast between them, making the two stop in their tracks. "What are you doing? This is no time for you to start some petty fight!" Frieza yells back at him. "Don't you dare tell me about petty fights! You were the one to go blindly fight the androids. And for what? To prove a point?" Trunks recoils. "Are you children going to continue to babble? Or are we going to deal with this like true Saiyans?" Frieza looks back to him with a piercing stare, snarling. "Shut up!" She launches back at Vegeta. Krillin then goes to Trunks, trying to get him to calm down. The rest watch this happen, but look back at Gero when they hear the sound of a latch opening. They turn around to see two young adults stepping out from the pods.
"Hello, Professor."
"Why, hello, young ones. You seem more polite than usual."
"Why, of course. Our time in stasis really gave us some time to reflect."
17 and 18 look down at the shutdown remote in Gero's hand, then turn their gazes to the Z-Fighters.
"Who might they be?"
18 comments. "Just some unwanted house guests. Could you escort them out, if you please?"
"Why, of course," says 18.
17 walks towards the Z-Fighters, but halfway he turns back to Gero.
"Though that might be a big task. Can you help us test our power? To see if we're up to the task?"
Gero looks back at him confused. "What do you..." 18 then trips him from behind, grabbing the remote from his hand and crushing it. 17 then lifts his arm and shoots a ki blast directly at Gero's head. There's a bright flash. When it goes away, the two androids stand there with no trace of Gero.
"Now," 17 says, "how about we escort you out?"
17 gets into a battle stance while 18 is staring at another pod labeled 16. But before anyone can react, Trunks and Krillin fly in yelling, "Everyone, duck!" The Z-Fighters quickly comply as we hear Vegeta yell from outside, "Big Bang Attack!" A large blast goes through the mountain, eviscerating everything in its path. When the dust clears, nothing is left of the lab. All that's left are the Z-Fighters, the androids, and that last pod. Near them, Frieza and Vegeta are in the sky, staring each other down. "What are you thinking? You could have killed me!" Frieza yells. "Would you really kill your own daughter?" Vegeta stares at her emotionless, and coldly replies with, "What daughter?" Frieza, with tears in her eyes, flies off. "Wait, sis!" Trunks flies off in pursuit of Frieza. And with that, we end our episode. What did you think about this part? How will everyone act now that they know Frieza's true identity? How will the team fare now that they face the androids with neither Trunks or Frieza to help them? How badly did I butcher that load of character voices? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to be notified when we next upload. We got a bunch of different videos on this channel, so be sure to check them out and see what you like. Have a wonderful day, guys. This is REKC signing off.